So first of all, ladies, welcome. We wanted to let you know that Beverly and Mikahla Shook are part of a team up in Twin Falls. So as we kind of navigate all of our offices, the objective is to bring you different people doing different things. And I will tell you, when I interviewed these two lovely ladies, there were some words that really stuck out in the conversation. We feel like a powerful women's team. They also have a third link in their team of three, but how they work together, how they process together, and how they are building their business is really driven by their own personal philosophy about how to do it. And one of the things that happened when I interviewed them was they seemed to be extremely popular in their office. They spent more time communicating with people, waving at them and checking in with them in their office. And there's a real kind of energy that comes from this team. So we're super happy to have both of you here today. And I'm going to send out some questions and see if the ladies can make that happen for us. So welcome, ladies. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, super excited. So one of the first questions I wanted to talk a little bit about was, Beverly, you've been in the business for a while, but just tell us how you originally came to real estate and built your team with Gary when you were first starting out in this business.
All right. Well, Gary began his career in real estate in 2006. By 2009, he was no longer able to run his business solely as a real estate agent, so quickly rising to the top in top 10 in the area. So after a few failed attempts at finding the perfect assistant, he hired me in 2009. Still not quite sure I got any sort of a paycheck per se, but I did definitely benefit in a lot of ways by me joining the team. And so then, therefore, our business began to continue to flourish and grow with my special gifts and qualities that I brought to our team. You know, better client connections, communication, organization, and a better listing experience with our clients that came through and stuff like that. Just, you know, sometimes two is better than one because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in real estate, and it's hard as a sole agent to keep everything going forward. So so I got my real estate license in 2013 because then I could have full access to running and assisting our team with Gary. And then we actually needed more help. So in 2014, our daughter Mikahla chose to get her license as well and come on with us as a buyer's agent. So
awesome. Well, and I have to kind of add a little bit here, and when Mikahla and I were talking, I think that the amount of business that she's brought to the table on this team over the years has been great. But I think you told me you did 57 transactions last year, lady, by yourself on the buyer side. So this person doesn't come lightly into this job. She comes with a lot of gusto and was defined in part of the notes that we took back and forth about being the lady of the valley, which, you know, like those kinds of things don't come just because you go out and do real estate. They come because you build a reputation for yourself. So congratulations on some of that huge success out there and what you're growing. So Mikahla, one of the things I'm kind of interested in is how your previous work experience before real estate really affected your decision to drop into this world. And for some people, just to drop into a family business and learn how to navigate that together as you build business going forward.
Yeah, so I was in more of like a corporate type job where I was expected to fit within a box and I had to clock in and clock out every day. And I mean, as a real estate agent, we work all the time essentially, but it was different. Like I would have to get to work at 6:30 in the morning, and then I was on salary, so I could leave when the job was done, but the job was never done until probably 8:30. So I got really tired of having to be available for this corporation that didn't really care about me as a person, and where I was young and missing out on all these fun things and missing out on my early 20s because I needed to be at work. Granted, and then they kind of sucked me into real estate, and I always told them I'd never do that with them, but here I am. And I guess I just really enjoy now that I can either run as hot as I want to or scale back. And if I need to have like some time like just to kind of give myself some attention and my family some attention, then I can do that without having to explain it to my boss. So I really enjoy that. So,
right.
yeah.
Well, and I think like if anybody took time to take a look at both of these two women's social media feed, you'll find out that the family piece of their life is incredibly at the forefront, whether it's rafting with family or being in the garden or working outside, that really is important to them. So you can run a really strong business and still make that piece become important in your life, which is super important. So for you two as women, you work very closely together in this office or also in your home office from what we talked about. Tell me what it's like to learn to basically learn how to support each other as you grow in this business. What are the benefits of being two women in this organization of yours?
Well, I think we feed off of each other in a good way. We can always kind of pick up where the other one's, not on purpose, but sometimes you just have days where you're not mentally available or physically available, and I feel like one of us is always picking up where the other one needs help. So there's one.
Beverly, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely filling in the gaps like Mikahla mentioned, and she also mentioned building each other up. In life, it doesn't matter if it's real estate. We have good days and we have not so good days, and if you learn to communicate and work as a team, then you can either maybe not even, your team member might not even have told you, but you can just know that maybe they need to be built up. This gap needs to be filled. We need to have a sit down. We also make sure that we meet together as a team. If not every week, it's every other week. And then we just run through stuff. I know that Mikahla and Gary are meeting more than once a week about some of the important, topics and decisions that need to be made on a listing or a transaction or whatever. So just keeping communication is huge, and having an understanding towards each other and towards what's going on in the stress of the real estate world. So.
Well, and I think it's important. Like one of the things I noticed too in our conversation initially was you were very strong on the communication piece, but in a family dynamic, sometimes you think, oh, we're just going to keep doing this because we're family, but yet you're building some structure by meeting once a week and kind of holding yourself accountable to what you're all doing and making happen. So, and I think what was fun about the whole conversation too was that in the end, this last year, Mikahla kind of is now butting heads with Gary on the performance measurement. So there's like this, there's also some excitement in the relationship, which makes it motivating to want to work together as you set those standards. And I also heard a lot from both people about not forgetting growth. And I think sometimes, again, you get stagnant in what you're doing. You've been in the business for a while. Mikahla, I think you've been with the group 8 years. Did I remember that correctly? 7.
Yeah.
So you also get to a level at 7 years where you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know my daily routines, but you use the word growth. You're still looking for opportunity to move forward and to challenge each other to that level. So super, super happy for you to come and join us today. Thank you so much for your feedback. And hopefully it'll inspire someone else to build a team or a family team. And you can get both Beverly and Mikahla Shook are in IQ office in the directory if you want to look them up and you want to talk to them a little bit more about their experience, or that may be influencing you to make a decision or work through a team. But we're super happy that you shared today. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanne.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Both. Very, very appreciative. And I think Carrie has a couple fun pictures to share, so we're going to share those next. Yay! Definitely want to live in Twin Falls.